The story behind Benitec, well, obviously I think it's an interesting one. Benitec has been around for about 10 years. It originally listed on the Australian Stock Exchange with the task to commercialise the CSIRO technology around gene silencing, which we call DNA-directed RNAi, or it's otherwise known as expressed RNA interference. One of the problems that Benitec first faced when it did list was its patent position was so dominant in this space that it was inevitable it was going to get challenged, and it did get challenged. So Benitec spent about 6 or 7 years fighting that challenge with the US Patent Office. But that was the bad news. The good news is that once it overcame, and it did overcome, that challenge, it means that the company's patent position now is incredibly strong in this space. So we've now got a new team, re-energised organisation, ready to go forward and commercialise the platform ddRNAi. Benitec's current position in the market is really reflected around the programs that the company has selected to best represent the performance of ddRNAi technology. We have a program around hepatitis B, pain management, non-small cell carcinoma of the lung, and OPMD, which is an orphan disease. Each of these in their own right, if they prove efficacious in patients, has the ability to take Benitec into the big league, if I could say that. Now, on their own, individual programs will simply validate the performance of the platform, and I think that's an important point. Validating how the technology works is a critical component to proving where Benitec is heading in the future. We expect that at least 1 or 2 of these programs will go into patients at some point in 2013. And at the end of the day, it's clinical data that will prove the success of the program. The current executive management team consists of Dr. Peter French, who's the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Michael Graham, who is in fact the inventor of ddRNAi technology. He's our Chief Scientific Officer. Greg West, who's the Chief Financial Officer. Myself, Carl Stubbings, who's the Chief Business Officer. We are backed up by an incredibly strong board that includes Peter Francis, Mel Bridges, Dr. John Chiplin, and Ian Ross. All of these members of the board, combined with the management team, have incredible experience in the space. And I have to tell you, they're a fantastic team to work with. So the milestones we've achieved in the last 12 months would include the capital raising the company undertook. We raised $8 million, which helped improve and lengthen the organisation's runway, allowing us to continue to commercialise our ventures. We've done a number of licensing deals, one with a company in California called Calimmune around an HIV treatment, and another more recent one with a company called GeneAble around a treatment for a disease called retinosa pigmentosa. So those have been just some examples of some of the activities and some of the achievements the company has undertook in the last 12 months. Benitec has an incredibly exciting outlook for the next 12 months. We expect to put at least one of our treatments into patients in clinical trials. We all know the value of clinical data in this particular industry. Through that, we expect to begin to create incredible value for the company and for our stakeholders. For future potential shareholders and for existing shareholders, I have a message. The message is patience. We are working in an incredible industry in biotechnology where the stakes are very, very high. The return is high, the risk is high. I would cite examples where Gilead purchased Pharmasset for $10.8 billion last year, late last year. They could have bought that company for significantly less in 2004. That pharmaceutical company made a decision to reduce its risk by waiting until Pharmasset had their particular product much further through the clinical trial process. Another example I would cite, who's very much in our space, is a company called Alnylam. Less than a year ago, Alnylam was worth $280 million from a market capitalisation point of view. Today, its market cap is $900 million. And that's been essentially on the basis of announcements that they've made and advancements that they've achieved. My point here is to investors is that we're operating in a high-risk, high-return environment. Be patient. It's a long, hard road, but if we get there, the return will be significant. So if you're looking for more information on Benitec, I will direct you to the company's website, benitec.com. Also, the company's listed on the Australian Stock Exchange with the ticker code of BLT.